Good morning, and welcome to episode 4 of my collection log hardcore Ironman series. We are still rank 4 for items logged and rank 13 overall in XP. Today we will be doing some Slayer, getting a few easy slots from that, one big item that essentially unlocks a few of the new wilderness bosses, and we'll get a little taste of Wildy PVM. Aside from that, I got a few LMS clips. A big thank you for all the views, comments, subs on the last video. This series is just doing way better than I expected. Shout out also if you recognize me in game and say hi. I always find that pretty neat. So let's get into the video. Something I'll work on in the future is combat achievements as well, but here I just get the master combat task, Perfect Zora. Not too sure what I actually did, just doing these lazy. Zora is a boss I can just sort of go to anytime. I feel like it's pretty chill. I don't have to worry about DCing and dying. Get some elite clues, chance at the pet, tense, muta, so I'll just be here every once in a while. You saw me fishing quite a bit last video, so here's 150 million in cookie XP coming in. Let me know if I should make a dedicated little skilling ramble video. Obviously, I'm not going to be recording myself doing regular Slayer a bunch, but I thought I'd show what I do for hard clues, since you get a lot of them during Slayer. If I'm in the mood to do them, I'll do this, which means that I juggle them throughout the whole task, and then I retrieve them individually, because stackable clues aren't a thing. Now, it's kind of controversial with stackable clues. You know, clues are meant to be a distraction, diversion. I think there's arguments that can be made for both sides. Little suggestion I had I posted on Reddit ages ago is to give a reward for doing all of the clue milestones, because if you do 600 beginners, 500 easiest, and so on, you get a little sack thing, but there's no actual reward for doing all of them. So a ton of people just don't do the beginner thing, or they don't do the 200 elites because elites suck. But I thought that was like sort of a fair suggestion. I'm definitely somewhat open to it. I'm not sure how other people feel, but I feel there should be a trade-off, and this is fairly high cost of entry, since you need to do quite a lot of clues to get this done. Maybe you can sort of scale it up, so if you do just the beginners, maybe you can stack beginners, or like 3 beginners, and then the more of these milestones you complete, maybe you can get more. I would like that, but for the time being I just juggle them and hate my life and hate Slayer. That's why I quit Burnout from Slayer so often, because I do methods like this. Elite clue scroll from Mithril Dragons. Don't shoot bones this task. I should really have these extended, to be honest, to get that dragon full helm. The way I train regular Slayer, it's mostly safe, but Necryarchs are the bane of my existence. I just kind of panic whenever I hit below like 60, 50 hit points. I tell you out, just be extra careful. I'm probably fine most of the time since I auto-cast Blood Barrage, but I'd rather not risk it.
Jagex recently changed how Venom mechanics work, and apparently nowadays you can Venom a monster and then fully run away out of its aggro range, and it will stay venomed, meaning that damage will tick on it even though you're not attacking it anymore. What this means for me is that I can attack monsters such as Tsars, which there are a lot of in a very small area, and then I can do one hit with my blowpipe and wearing a serpentine helmet, and if the hit is successful, then venom damage will start ticking on them. So let's test this out.
So yeah, this method only existed early March for a few weeks. I'm going to call it a method, you know, clever use of game mechanics. Definitely not a bug. I should not be banned, please Jagex. But yeah, I abused this as much as I could, you know, try it out. Venom Tsars are just super beneficial. This was very good for me. I got a ton of dupes, a ton of obby capes. I'll throw a few clips in here and there of the collection log slots I got especially. I lost out on a lot of the items as well once I optimized my route, which is fine. I don't really care about the GP or the tackle I could get off of these, but This was sort of fun. I don't think it's too bad if they leave something like this in here. I mean, I guess the issue is just that SARs are so packed with NPCs that it becomes just a little bit too strong. But I thought it was a lot of fun doing this because, you know, I benefited from it quite a bit.
And there's a little collection log slot right as I'm about to bank. I guess I'll go back. Just collect it. Ah, it's these rings. I was wondering what the item was. Definitely a fun little method, even if I end up losing a few of the items because I can't get them back in time. Still no armor, but I've got the rings crossed off, a couple more dupes, and the staff is going to be the hardest part to get anyhow, so I don't really mind going dry on any of these since this is the only thing that's really stopping me from completing this log anytime soon. The Venom thing is also a very minor buff to some Slayer. I'm trying it out here because you can go to the other room if it's free and tag each of them once, maybe twice to get blowpipe hit, and then you do basically 205 damage to them in next to no time at all while you kill these, but I think it's very, very minimal bonus XP, and a lot of the times both rooms won't be open, so you're kind of taking up a lot of space. There we go, finally an unsired. This could be the final bludgeon piece. Still need third bludgeon piece, pet or jar. Really hope for the bludgeon piece. Please, none of these four. Let's see. Yes, finally. That is the full bludgeon complete. This. And there we have the abyssal bludgeon on the hardcore Unreal. Thank you. It's looking very nice. This pretty much unlocks Sarachnis and maybe Venom in the future. Nice little crush weapon. Could maybe start CMs, whatnot. It's just a very nice weapon to have. It's not the best in slot, but it's very, very cool. Going for the back-to-back, so I thought we'd get this dumb little combat achievement out the way. Tank a nice big hit. I don't think I ever tanked it unintentionally. Do sometimes get to low hit points. You have bad luck getting hits off here, but no back-to-back. Sad. But let's just leave Sire at that for the time being. Pet and the jar aren't too important for me at the time being, and I think this boss will only ever get easier, especially if I upgrade my gear. Killing all the vents in time is a lot easier with some upgrades, so no more for this for quite a while. There we go, finally a collection log slot. Been here for 2 hours today. I'm starting to feel a little bit fried, staring at the screen all day. Blowpipe running around. Some guy stealing my Obsidian capes. But very nice. There she is, beautiful. The orange text. I already have this and you can buy it, but you know, 1 mil GP, not gonna let that lie around.
Quizmaster intermission for a bucket. There we have the Obsidian helmet. Our total count for collection log going up quite well with this little grind. We of course get a couple of dupes. Dupe helm there, dupe helm there again, and nice little dupe plate body as well. Not a big deal. Get the Xilak something. I can't pronounce any of these items, but little dagger thing. And our collection log is looking pretty good. At this point, I just need the plate legs and of course the staff. And easy as that, obsidian plate legs. This means we have everything on the collection log except for the staff. The staff, you know, there's not that many mages, so it is a little bit easier running around and finishing those, but at this point I'm sort of too invested and I want to finish this. So here's what the end of this grind looked like pretty much. Only did lap very sped up here because the staff is 1 in 4K and it's not a lot of fun running around for this, but it's very worth doing as long as the Venom thing is around. And there we have the Toxij you know, the mage staff. Very huge. This is super rare, and it's nice to get this out of the way so that I don't have to do this during the Slayer grind. Always gear up for barrage tasks or use an alt. I can instead do Jads and Zucks. And that's the full collection log slot. Missed out a lot of the dupes. Probably left like 5 obby capes on the floor. But yeah, very happy to get this done. Green logged. And funnily enough, it was patched like 2 hours after I finished. So yeah, take that as you will. But I'm glad I got it done. Let's do a little bit of skilling real quick, because I want to show you something fun you can do during Herblore or bank standables.
So right now I'm working towards 50 mil Herblore. I have it banked already, and it's the weekend. I'm not going to do any Wildy stuff. Maybe a little bit of PVM, but when I want to relax, I'll just make potions. And the best place to make potions is at Prifdinus, because you can catch crystal imps in the meantime. Sometimes they'll float by here, but another little thing you can do is to bring your main here and hop with your main somewhere nearby. So I'll show that just now. So while I make potions on my hardcore, I will use just the right click button, and with the World Hopper plugin you can cycle through worlds with 1 click, and you just take a quick peek. If there's no notification that there's an imp nearby, you click again, hop to the next world, and so on. And this way you'll get a couple of implings during grinds like this. I'm not paying attention right now, but it's easy enough that you shouldn't lose any time doing Herblore side. So there we have one. I just hop to my main. The alt. These give elite clues, stuff like Dragon Dark tips. It's really nice. And I like to, on my alt, I'll either hop in the corner because then you cover this little bit, or if I'm at the northern bank, I'll try to be somewhere around here. And if you want to cover more ground, you can obviously run with the alt like a tiny bit and then hop from then, so you just cover more area, but it's a bit more effort, so I tend not to do that. Here we have another one. There's a lot of people nearby, so maybe I won't get this one. Let's see. Oh, we get it. We'll use seed, easy as that. The main can keep hopping. Another little thing you'll notice is that Prif looks a lot worse on my client. It's because there's a plugin called Prifdinus in the plugin hub, and it removes just this ton of scenery, because my laptop cannot handle 2 accounts and recording and, you know, maybe watching something on the side. So this just clears it up nicely, I think. Here we have 50 mil Herblore on the hardcore. Very exciting. Quite a lot of potions. I think this is the last real milestone I'll go for. I'll finish my unfinished ones that I didn't make, and then in the future I won't be doing very many herb runs, because I realistically have pretty much all of the potions that I'll ever use.
And as a little loot example, this is what about 20 minutes of hunting the crystal implings on the side got me. I didn't always do it, but, you know, every once in a while, it's fun. So, LMS, 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 last man standing. The boring truth is, a ton of my wins are going to be from bots. I have the collection log pretty much complete aside from the win capes. I'm at like 300 wins at this point, and it's a mini game that's fun. It's well designed. It's pretty cool. It's very active, but it's just so triggering sometimes, and it's filled with bots, gold farmers. It's just kind of a struggle to get to. I think I'll just include a couple of clips here and there for this video. I'll mostly just complain about Vengers. Here I'm fighting a Venger, for example, and it's just painful. You know, for Tribrid, I picked Tribrid for mains because I feel it has a slight edge over Vengers, but a Venger with good RNG will always still win. And you know, it's a fun mini game. I don't think these skills don't really transfer well into actual wilderness tanking and stuff, but maybe I can predict a little bit of stuff. The Void Waker is the big issue nowadays. It got added to LMS as well, but tanking against that just feels so unintuitive. You know, I'm not a PKer, so I can't really talk for them, but it just feels like a terrible item because a guy runs next to you in melee gear with a melee weapon, and you have to either pray mage and hope that he clicks the spec button, and if he doesn't click the spec button, it's basically a whip. So, you know, if you're praying mage against the guy with full melee gear and the Void Waker next to you, he can still hit you like a 40. It just feels awful. So maybe LMS is even hurting me in some ways, because I might try to switch prayers in the wilderness if a guy gets on me.
So yeah, I really can't say I enjoy this playstyle very much, but it is very efficient. As you can see, he prays range, but if he's trying to get a freeze or blood barrage off me, I'm still just going to get consistent DPS. So yeah, this is what a venge fight looks like. It's honestly BS, and I hate that venging is allowed for Zerkers. Just way too strong.
Now let's finally put the bludgeon to good use. I want to start out with Calvarion. This is the budget little Venom that was added with the wilderness update. Got my main outside, scouting. You know, I'll take any advantage I can. I practice this a little bit on my main, but I still make a good few mistakes. But I'm a hardcore, so I have sort of the advantage that I can bring very good gear and a Blood Fury and Sweets, so all the little mistakes I make don't really affect me or make me risk anything. I think Calvarion was a lot of fun. It's probably the least active, in my opinion, of all of the new wilderness bosses, so it definitely felt the safest. Mechanics, you know, I just have the bludgeon. I think with the rev weapons, it's a lot nicer, but it's still very simple. You just have to walk around a bunch, dodge the little things. The item I want most from this, I guess, is the ring. It's like a prayer ring. That's sort of nice. And Void Waker would be sort of cool, but I'm not sure if I'm going to complete the Void Waker pieces from all three bosses. This first little trip, I didn't even bring a looting bag because I'd just rather have more items, more food and things. And the loot here, it's decent, you know. In my opinion, they could honestly nerf the loot a little bit, and then it'd be less active with gold farmers and stuff, because honestly, I'm just here for the uniques, and I think the lower level Wildy ones should just be good for uniques, and the deeper Wildy ones should give decent GP per hour if you want to do those in a team. First trip, only 3 KC before PKers turn up outside. And I hop in between trips. Here I got 10 KC for hard combat achievement. Here's my risk, though I don't feel Calvarion is too scary with PKers. I wouldn't really mind losing any of those items as long as I keep the bludgeon. And something else that's really cool about these bosses is they drop a ton of restores, especially those blighted restores, and I can sort of juggle them on my hardcore and extend the trip. So as long as PKers don't show up, I can stay for quite a while, depending on my luck with the supply drops. So of course I kept an eye out on my alt outside, and every once in a while someone would come in. But in this case, this guy just looked like an absolute noob, or maybe a bot, so didn't teleport. You know, maybe one day some guy will look like a noob and pull off a 6-way switch TB me. We'll have to see if that gets me. Here we have 50 KC on an extremely long trip. I get super combats as well as restores, so I can just last here for ages if I juggle. Ending up at 53 KC with a super long trip. This boss was a lot more uneventful than I thought, not that many PKers, and it's not too active. Or at least the PVMers hop when they see my alt outside, which is nice. If anything, this sort of gave me confidence to start the Wilderness Slayer grind. So 1k likes and I go to the Wilderness, get Slayer tasks. Yeah, just kidding, I already recorded everything. I do go to the Wilderness in the next video. Make sure to sub for that. It's just more efficient for me to do these bosses on task if I'm going to do them anyhow, because then I get Laren's keys, which gives me a chance at Dagon High, which would be insane. That'll be all for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, sub, leave comments flaming me if you feel so inclined. Next video we'll be going to the Wilderness for Slayer, and the video will not end until I get a Dagon High piece. Make sure to tune in for that. Ending up this video at 1019 collection log slots, still rank 4, inching closer to rank 3 a little bit. I'll talk about ranks in a future video as well. So thank you very much for watching. Good night.